My name is Jonathan Gillum, and this is The Experts, the special Wally Grand episode. Episode of The Experts, we're talking about mentorship, and I thought who better of a guest to bring on than Dr. Wally Grand, who is a neurosurgeon, has been a mentor for me in my adult life, and he's also been a mentor to many students and people in general, and I think that bringing you on is going to give a great perspective to people about the reality of being a mentor and being mentored. And I think that in both cases, the people have to commit to the relationship. So thank you for being on. And I just want to start off by asking you, how did you become such a great mentor? Was this something that you think that it developed in you throughout the years? Were you mentored and taught this, or is it just the fact that you're a good person that cares about other people?
Well, I think you do have to want to be a mentor. And what it means to be a mentor is to want to make people better than you are. You want to make people better or more accomplished than you were by setting an example. And you want to set a good example. I mean, as you know, as a former Navy SEAL, they train you so that you become as safe as possible. They try to make you capable of saving your own life.
They want us to be just as good as they are. The instructors know that they may end up going to war with us. And exactly. I think that's a big deal, is they want us to be on par with them.
They want, so part of mentorship is a bond between setting an example, exhibiting excellence, and making those people you're teaching as good or better than you. And if you are in a combined situation like in surgery or neurosurgery, if you mentor someone and create excellence in their performance, when you work with them, they're going to help you in a more accomplished way than if you never took the time to teach them and have the patience to teach them and teach them the sequence of events that you need to accomplish in your case, a mission or a surgery or taking care of people.
Now, when you mentor somebody, how important is it for them to realize or to want that mentoring?
Well, I think it's very important. I think if you have to have a desire also, the person who's being mentored, to attain excellence, to accomplish things that are more extraordinary or more advanced, say in neurosurgery. So you want to make yourself better and better and better. So you're going to look for someone who sets an example of methodically performing surgery, getting good results, and setting an example of how you should perform. And also setting an example of self-criticism, and as you've talked about in the past, about being accustomed to failure and picking yourself up and going on to performing better and not being kicked down or beaten down by one failure or one setback, which neurosurgery is a humbling experience because you do have failures. And you have to analyze that and say, what can I do better? And that's part of mentorship too. Other aspect of mentorship is demonstrating accountability. In other words, you're accountable. You may not know what went wrong, but you're accountable, you're responsible. So being responsible is an important aspect of this.
So at what point have you found throughout the years of mentoring to people, do you just let go and say, I can't help that person?
Well, I think, there's different, through my career, there's different neurosurgeons or neurosurgeons in training residents. Some are very receptive to saying, I really don't know everything, or say to themselves, I really know nothing and I want to learn it from this person.
Right.
Versus other people, in certain instances, start to gain a feeling that they know more than they really know.
Right.
They become less open to looking at the more experienced people who can teach them something and say, well, I know it all now. And that's an unfortunate thing, because that's usually a setup for future failure.
And how many of those people normally end up being the greatest doctor? Or
well, they don't, because they've not learned from others, and they follow their own path, which generally has to do with, or generally is accompanied by a lack of expertise or knowledge. So they live in a closed system, and that's part of the persons who benefit mostly from mentorship are those who have an open system, an open mind, and say, I want to learn more and more. I really don't know everything.
Right.
And that's a characteristic of someone who's open to mentorship. They should come in with the idea that I want to learn, and I have to put the effort in to learn.
Which is different than saying I
want to be taught. I want to would be the old phrase spoon-fed.
Right.
In a sense, put this information in my head so that I'll be a neurosurgeon or whatever.
And rather than taking it upon themselves to
they'll
go out
say,
and actually learn.
I have to learn it.
Yeah.
I have to put the effort in. And I can't expect other individuals to just teach me everything or put things in my head. Yeah.
I really think that if people had the ability to make believe that they were doctors on the weekends, that they would be fine with that.
Right. Probably. Well, it's the same in any field, in neurosurgery or any surgery. Neurosurgeons are different. It takes a tremendous amount of concentration.
Yeah.
When you're doing surgery, the responsibility, et cetera. I mean, we get used to it. I don't want to glorify it too much, but we get used to that. But when you look back at crises in surgery and the concentration you have to have in neurosurgery, and which, thankfully, there's a lot of people who have that ability.
Right. As we conclude this interview about mentorship, I think it's important for me to tell people the story about how we met and how you became this mentor and friend of mine in this world. So, for those of you that know who I am, I'm a former Navy SEAL and FBI special agent. And when I was in the FBI, I got a call one night after we had an arrest, and I was walking through the operations center, and one of the girls that was working in the operations center turned and asked if I knew about a guy who had been a Navy SEAL and became an FBI agent and was a Medal of Honor recipient. And I said, well, you're talking about Tommy Norris, obviously. She said, yeah, I had the weirdest call from somebody saying that they had heard a speech from the doctor that worked on Tommy Norris when he was in Vietnam and wanted to see if they could get them reunited. And I was kind of taken back by this a little bit. So I said, yeah, I'll handle it. So I made the phone call, got in touch with you, and asked you about what had happened. And for those people that don't know who Tommy Norris is, Tommy Norris was a Navy SEAL that was awarded the Medal of Honor for a mission that he carried out along with a Vietnamese frogman that went over a 2-week period, basically, where they were searching for a downed pilot. And he had received this Medal of Honor for this one mission, and then was leading another mission with a big strapping SEAL named Mike Thornton, who is another legend in the community of the SEAL teams. And as they came out of the water and over the hinterland, they got ambushed. So it was Mike Thornton, Tommy Norris was the officer in charge of that mission, and then several...
One South Vietnamese.
Right. I think there was maybe a couple.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the number, yeah.
So they get ambushed, and like SEALs do, they work their way back towards the water. When they got there, they realized that Tommy Norris and this other individual that was with them were no longer with them. So Mike Thornton says, I'm going back to get these guys. So he takes off through the gunfire, finds Tommy Norris, who's been wounded in his, I believe it was his
left frontal region, yeah. It's been...
And his arm had been shattered, and basically had lost his eye, and his brain was exposed on his left side. Mike Thornton picks him up, starts carrying him towards the water, grabs the other guy, the Vietnamese frogman. Now he's got two guys running with these, and Mike Thornton's a big, larger-than-life human being, so he's carrying these two guys, gets him down to the water, and is himself shot several times. RPG goes off, blows him down, he picks the guys back up. Now he's got shrapnel and bullets inside of him. Works his way down to the water, inflates everybody's life jackets, puts one guy's legs over his shoulder facing that way, the other guy facing that way, with his legs going that way, and swims him out into the ocean for several hours before he's picked up. And because of the temperature of the water and the fact that seawater is basically sterile, it was able to keep the swelling down in Tommy Norris's brain and keep it somewhat clean.
Wasn't contaminated as much,
So they fly Tommy Norris to the Subic Bay, Philippines, where the only neurosurgeon...
Clark Air Force Base.
Clark Air Force Base.
Philippines.
In Philippines.
Yeah.
So they fly Tommy Norris there, where the only neurosurgeon in the region was there, and that was Dr. Grand. So Dr. Grand, when they bring Tommy Norris in, he's awake, trying to give you intelligence on whatever mission that they'd been doing. He stays there for about a week, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
And then you all never saw each other again.
Right.
Tommy Norris gets his Medal of Honor, and then Mike Thornton receives the Medal of Honor for the mission where he rescued Tommy Norris. So it's the only time in history that I know of where an individual, Mike Thornton, was awarded the Medal of Honor for rescuing another Medal of Honor recipient.
Yeah.
And so you're intertwined in this history of the SEAL teams and of the Medal of Honor. We still have Tommy Norris now. Tommy Norris went on to become, he continued to be a SEAL and then became an FBI special agent, one of the founders of the hostage rescue team, and did all kinds of great work in the FBI, and then retired. So I get the interview done with you. I get in contact with Tommy Norris. Tommy tells me to ask you a couple of questions. I call you back. I ask you some questions, and I was touched because really you just wanted to let Tommy know that you were proud to have worked on somebody who had made so much of their life. So I got the opportunity, I got it cleared with my special agent in charge at that time in the Bureau, and was able to coordinate this meeting and escort you all around and be a part of this reuniting of Mike Thornton, Tommy Norris, and Dr. Wally Grand. So right before I met Dr. Grand, he calls me on the phone, and I'm talking to him, and of course in New York it's illegal to talk on your phone and drive, and he gets pulled over while I'm talking to him on the phone,
Right.
And you can tell him what you told the cop when he pulls you over.
Well, I told him, I said, I operated on this guy who's a Navy SEAL, and I'm talking to him now. I haven't seen him in 37 years, and I'm going to keep talking, And he said, "Oh, okay, okay, that's fine with me." It actually was, and I'm not like that. I would never talk back to a police officer, but I was so frustrated. I was caught in this rainstorm trying to get the car down there. All my doctor veterans friends from the Vietnam era, that's something they should think about when they go to that Vietnam Memorial.
Right.
The names that aren't there.
Right.
And Tommy Norris's name could have been on there.
Sure.
But it wasn't. So that's something to be thankful for.
So thank you, Dr. Graham, for all that you've done for not just me, but for all the people. Thank you on behalf of the SEAL teams for saving one of the great legends in our community. I'm sure if Tommy was here, he'd say thank you as well. And hopefully we'll have many more discussions like this.
Thank you.